This conference will now be recorded.
There you go. All right, we're ready.
Libby, you ready? Let's start. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the June 18th, 2020 North Augusta Planning Commission regular meeting to order. And what we'll do with a roll call is I will mention each commissioner's name, and then you can confirm with your first and last name, just like we do normally. So I'll start off with Commissioner Key.
Timothy Key, present.
Commissioner Watts.
Larry Watts, present.
Commissioner Mackey.
Joanne Mackey, present.
Commissioner Crawford.
Christine Crawford, present.
Commissioner Clark.
Bob Clark, present.
Commissioner Carter.
Lynn Carter, present.
And I'm Britton Williams. All right, approval of the minutes. Are there any deletions, additions, or corrections to the May 21st, 2020 regular meeting minutes? If not, then they are approved as distributed. Item number 4, confirmation of agenda. Any changes to the agenda tonight, Mrs. Hodges?
I have none.
Okay. So we'll jump right in to item number 5. Application RZT 20-001, Article 13, Signs Text Amendment. A request by Be Ye Holy Ministries for a text amendment to allow electronic reader boards in residential districts. The request affects Article 13, Signs of the North Augusta Development Code. This is a consideration of the text amendment request by the commission. We will be making a recommendation for or against, and that will be forwarded to the city council, who will have the final decision. So we are just going to be making a recommendation for or against tonight. At this point, I'm going to open up the public hearing and ask Ms. Hodges if you have any comments or anything you feel like you need to share with us.
I don't have too much to add, just to explain kind of how the staff report is laid out. So this is a text amendment. We were not required to contact anyone in particular about the text amendment because this would apply across, within the development code across the entire city. So what I've provided to you is one version of the text change that is a literal interpretation of what it is they've asked for, and then another text change interpretation that has a little more staff recommendation added to it. I believe we have a couple of people here in support of the application. If they want to introduce themselves.
Okay. All right, we'll get to them in just one second. Are there any questions for Ms. Hodges from commissioners?
No.
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 Okay, so at this point, the applicant or applicants, if you'd like to state your name and address for the record for me, we would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. My name is Joe Newsom. I'm the pastor of Be Ye Holy Ministries, located at 1117 Seymour Drive here in North Augusta, South Carolina.
Welcome tonight.
Thank you, sir.
If you would like to, we'll turn it over to you. If you would like to kind of share with us that what you want to tell us about what you're proposing tonight.
Yes, sir. What we're asking for, as Mrs. Hodges has indicated, is an amendment to the text amendment. We purchased a sign for the ministry. Not being aware at the time we purchased it, the code did not support it. We're requesting a text amendment to the Article 13, as Mrs. Hodges have already indicated, sir.
Okay. When did y'all purchase the ministry?
We purchased the church back in 2009.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And we just purchased the sign in June now. We purchased the sign, I believe, in the beginning of May.
Are there, go ahead, sir, I'm sorry.
And the sign company is out of Charleston, South Carolina. They are the Coastal Outdoor Services. And so they're just waiting for approval so they can come in and install it, sir.
Okay. All right. Are there questions from commissioners to Mr. Newsom?
Y'all, you may double check that your microphones aren't muted in case you have any questions.
I can tell Commissioner Carter and Key, or they're both microphones are open. I can do roll call if we need to do it that way. Why don't we just do that? Commissioner Key, at this point, do you have any questions for Mr. Newsom?
I do not.
Okay. Commissioner Watts? Okay. Commissioner Mackey?
I don't have any questions. I do have one question. So, Reverend Newsom, I understand you've already purchased the sign.
Ma'am?
You have?
Yes, ma'am. They're just waiting to deliver it. We have to submit it one more payment, and then they'll deliver it in the company in South Carolina. Install it.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Crawford, any questions? Okay. Commissioner Clark?
No.
Commissioner Carter?
No questions there at this time.
Okay. Ms. Hodges, do we have anybody who wrote in any public comments?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay. All right.
Is there anyone here?
Joanne, Ms. Mackey, you want to say something?
I wanted to talk about it when we get ready to talk part.
Okay. If you don't have any more questions for Reverend Newsom.
Well, let me ask a question. Reverend Newsom, did you not know that there was a sign ordinance in North Augusta before you purchased the sign?
No, sir. Before we had a wooden sign up and everything else when we purchased with Tricky. And to say I did not know there was a sign ordinance, I'll let me retract that. We did know there was a sign ordinance. We just did not know to what extent the sign ordinance went. Because when we put the wooden sign up, when we purchased the church in 2009, we did have to get permission to put that sign up. So yes, sir, I was aware of the sign ordinance. I just did not know to what extent the sign ordinance was because we purchased it from another church. And I was on the assumption that everything was zoned for what a church would need. And you know, what people say about it. So yes, sir.
Did the salesperson not advise you to check it? He just says, here it is, buy it, not knowing where it's going to be placed?
No, sir, he did. He was just trying to sell the church, and we was in the process of looking for a church home, and everything else. And, that did not come up at the time.
Are you aware that what you're asking for is a overall change? It's not just not going to just affect you and your location. Are you aware of that? You're asking us to change all of North Augusta?
Yes, so I'm asking you all to consider that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Key, if I could just interject for just a moment. This is Libby. This was our recommendation. They had originally applied to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, but we were concerned that the Board of Zoning Appeals would not approve the appeal because it doesn't meet many of the criteria that we have for a variance. So our recommendation would be was to come back and try to do a text amendment instead, because at least this way, you know, there's still a chance to go before city council. If the Board of Zoning Appeals turns it down, your only appeal from that is to go through the court system.
Oh, so you're being strategic.
I try my best.
Okay.
You know, Reverend Newsom, as I ride by your building, the location where the two posts are, as far as the sign, it's in a very prominent location. So there's good exposure where it is.
Yes.
I guess I'm just trying to understand, because we've had a lot of change with the code when it comes to electronic reader boards, and the other churches and other buildings around there are all regular signs. You know, are you flexible to looking at just a regular sign? Because like I said, the location where you have it, it's pretty noticeable when you ride by it, which is, I think, good.
Yes, sir. We were looking at the fact that looking at modern technology and the time we're living in now, we didn't want to go back to when we first started back in 1992 in Augusta, Georgia, where you could take the letters out, put the letters up, and we want to be more visible and flexible when it comes to letting surrounding community know what's going on in the community as well. And we were looking at something also that will impact the community as far as recognizing when a child within the community honor graduate or makes the honor roll. We were looking at, you know, ways we could impact the community that the Lord has planted us in as well.
Okay.
So, Reverend Newsom, today I spent some time, and I spent some time yesterday trying to, because I'm into signage and marketing and that kind of, trying to figure out how you can resolve this issue if this doesn't work for you. And when I was at the corner of your street and Atomic Road, you literally can see the two stakes of your sign all the way down to like that intersection. So I'm listening to what you're trying to do, and I'm trying to figure out how it would work. So I called Libby this morning and I said, could Reverend Newsom put his sign off site in a commercial zone at the corner of Old Edgefield Road and Atomic Road, if someone there would let him have some ability to use their property? And she said, they can have anything down there. So I went down there and looked at that, and I didn't know that you were trying to change things like for a child, that, which as an old school teacher, I like that idea. So I even looked at, there's some billboards available on Atomic Road that are right at that turn. I thought, well, maybe you could do that. So my concern is that I feel like you probably, I know you, and I've done this myself, so you're not the first one, and you probably definitely won't be the last one, that you purchase something and then find out it doesn't work. I mean, that has happened to us in our company. We bought things and then told that will not be used. So I do feel for you about this, and so I was trying to find you an alternative of something else to do. And there are 4 churches on that road. I know you're aware of that, right?
Yes, ma'am. I know of two other churches on the road.
Okay. There's you, there's Emmanuel Baptist,
right.
There's the Lady of Peace, and Second Providence Church.
Yes, ma'am. You're correct. There's total 4 on that stretch. Yes, ma'am.
And so all of them have a lighted sign. Your old sign was just a wooden sign, right? It didn't have, right?
Yes, ma'am. And when we got that storm through on Easter weekend, it ripped it in half.
Okay. So you have 4 on that road, and if you are allowed to do it, and we have 4 on that road that decide to do it, it's gonna really be a lot going on that road. So I was trying to think of, have you thought of another alternative of what you could do?
We did give considerations to the billboard sign, but then it somewhat diminishes what we want to do with the community as far as advertising our services, as well as letting them know who we are and what we're about.
Right.
Any other questions for Reverend Newsom? Commissioner Watts or Commissioner Crawford? I wasn't sure if y'all had a chance to speak.
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other questions for Reverend Newsom, then I want to close the public part of the meeting, and then we can discuss among planning commissioners. So who wants to go first?
I'll be happy to go first. In reading the ordinance and taking into consideration what Commissioner Mackey was saying, and the changing it for citywide, in all the efforts that we've tried to do in making things uniform and easy to use for the city, it is not. It didn't get. I was trying to figure out a way which we could do it, but it just did not. I did not get over the hurdle. So I will be voting nay.
Right.
For the recommendation to the city council.
Other commissioners? Any comments? For me, I think just again, this amendment changes the entire code for the whole residential side, and everything, the effort we put into reworking the sign in the code recently. I just can't see how we can, change the entire code. I still think a variance would be the best way, but that'd be up to BZA or the city council. So I wish we could. I just don't know what. I don't know. I'm like you, Commissioner Key. I just don't know how to come up with another idea, unfortunately. All right. Go ahead.
I guess that's where I am, and that's why I tried to make that, Reverend Newsom, that's why I tried to make the effort today to try to figure out another way or somewhere to use that sign. And, I just feel like that maybe you could find, when you get up to that other road, if there was somebody up there that would let you, use their property to put the sign out, to have your message, and it would not be like, like our church, my church that I go to, they have a sign somewhere off the property, and that sign, sometimes when I ride by there, they used to, and they kind of quit doing it now, but they used to have announcements, kind of things like that, and I would go, oh, I didn't know they were doing that. So I wish there was someone you could contact and try to use the sign so that you could say, these 3 children just got awarded, on the band, with the band or something like that. So I think that maybe you could look at that. And I think that I went by the church today, your church, and I thought, well, it's well manicured. It fits in with the neighborhood. It's like a bookend to the entrance of Pressman. On the left-hand side, that young woman that used to live there, I don't know that she's still there, but she has really got her yard trimmed and everything's beautiful. And then you're over on the other side. So you're like a bookend for that neighborhood. And so I like the look you have, but I also hear what you're saying. So maybe, you know, Ms. Hodges could figure out a way of, why don't you try the sign down the street? I know that a lot of people use Atomic Road. Am I not right, y'all? A lot of people are on that road all day long. And they would see it. So I don't think it's appropriate to do it to the neighborhood people that are around you, but I do think it is a great idea to have the sign. Just need to figure out a place to put it. So I would have to vote that I'm opposed to it.
Okay. Any other comments from commissioners before I entertain a motion?
Commissioner Clark,
Yes,
I
sir.
agree with you. I think maybe he's not aware. We completely redid the sign ordinance recently, and an awful lot of effort went into it, and a significant amount of liberalization was accomplished, particularly in the downtown area, to bring it into modern times. And I think City Council approved that. And I think if it's to be changed, they should be the ones to do it. And I think we gave them all our recommendations and they approved them. So I think we should not change the city ordinance for a single spot, regardless of how, what a good use this would be. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments from commissioners? All right, I would entertain a motion.
It needs to be in the affirmative.
Yes, I would. Yeah. Yes. If you read just the line, the bold italicized line item 5 in that first sentence, then that would be an affirmative motion you can make.
A request by Be Holy Holy Ministries for a text amendment to allow electronic reader boards in residential district. I will make a motion that the planning commission does not make a recommendation to city council for the changement of the text amendment.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Key. Is there a second?
Could you explain what that motion means? Because
I thought it was
that we not make a recommendation. We just got to
Yes,
Make a recommendation.
And it needs to be positive.
Yeah,
Man, we don't have to vote
we
for
don't
it.
need to say that part. So basically what we want to do is the application RZT 20 Article 30 signs text amendment, a request by that first sentence, that is the motion. And then we're going to vote yay or nay it down.
I'll second that.
Who was that?
Clark.
Well, Commissioner Clark. Okay. So I want to just do roll call. If you're in favor of the recommendation being the text change, okay, you need to say yes. If not, you can tell me no. Commissioner Key?
No.
Commissioner Watts?
May have lost him.
Commissioner Mackey?
No.
Commissioner Crawford?
no.
Commissioner Clark?
No.
Commissioner Carter? Commissioner Carter?
No. No.
Okay. Commissioner Watts, are you on? Okay, and I say no. So the recommendation will go to Plan Commission that we have turned down the request to change the Article 13 on the text amendment. Reverend Newsom, what I would tell you is City Council makes those decisions. All we do is recommendation, and There have been many situations where we've made recommendations one way and they've done the other. So we appreciate your time and your ministry. We thank you.
And,
Yes, sir.
and may I say something, Reverend Newsom, I hope you are aware that, Mrs. Hodges has given you, some recourse, or redress in your appeal. As far as the planning commission, is concerned, we're trying to be absolutely fair to you. It's been strategic as to how it's been proposed to us. So, good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move to item 6, application MSP 20-001 Circle K redevelopment. A request by Circle K Stores, Inc. for approval of a site plan application for the redevelopment of the Circle K store located at 421 West Martintown Road. The request affects plus or minus 1.69 acres located on portions of PPNS 006-18-05-016, 006-18-05-017, and 006-18-05-018 Zone GC, General Commercial, and within the HC Highway Corridor Overlay District. This is a consideration of the minor site plan application. So at this point, Mrs. Hodges, would you like to share anything with us?
I got a promotion. There's not a whole lot to add. This is a general site plan approval. The case did go before the Board of Zoning Appeals just this past week, and they did approve the variance for the building location as it's shown. And the conditions that were imposed are shown in the staff report. If you have any particular questions or anything you need to know about, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hodges. Any questions for Mrs. Hodges from commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna ask the applicant, if there's an applicant online, if they would like to come on and state their name and address for the record and share with us anything you need to be aware of.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Waller. I'm with Bowman Consulting Group. Address is 4350 Main Street, Suite 219, Harrisburg, North Carolina, 28075.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you, and thanks for everyone's time this evening and setting this up like this. I work for a civil engineering firm, and we are representing on this project. What we're asking, or what Circle K is trying to do here, is redevelop their store on Martintown Road. At the West Avenue intersection. This is an assemblage, so they're taking their smaller site right now and trying to incorporate their kind of like a nationwide standard site that's a larger format building, roughly about 5,000 square feet, and then 8 fueling pumps out front along Martintown Road. They are acquiring the out of service car wash that's adjacent to the site, and then a portion of the parcel behind them, essentially to meet the rear setback requirement for the new site. As far as access goes, closing the 2 existing access drives on Martintown, they're kind of just wide open cuts right now, and then we'll be utilizing the existing access that acts as a shared access for the office next to them, and so that will be the main access point on Martintown Road, and then there will be another access on North Hills Drive. As far as site layout goes, it's kind of the standard C-store layout, and happy to answer any questions that you guys have or talk more on any details if needed.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Questions for the applicant from commissioners?
Commissioner Clark. Sir,
Yes,
this appears to me to be essentially a duplicate of the one at Martintown and the interstate. Is that correct?
I believe Matt Cotton with Circle K is on the line. He's a representative for Circle K in this area, and he can probably speak to that a lot better.
Hey, yep.
It looks
Hey,
like
everyone. You need me to state my name and address and everything?
You would, please.
All right. My name is Matt Cotton. Address is 2550 West Tyvola Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, Suite 200. So I am the development manager for Circle K. So it's not exactly what we have at the interstate. This is a larger building and a more standard, up-to-date canopy. That is one of our larger existing stores, but that came as an acquisition a long time ago. So that wasn't a new build for us. This will be a new build. And I'm not sure if the elevations are in this packet that you all received, but we do have some building elevations that we could send you all if there they are. So the building will look like this. It won't look like the store at the interstate.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all buy the land right behind the current store? Did y'all already own that land? And that's where you're going to be expanded to behind you, right? As well as the car wash to the left?
We're currently under contract on those two parcels. It's the same owner. So it was a little bit easier of a deal to get done. He was looking to either renovate the car wash or sell the whole thing. So we kind of caught him at the right time, and he's going to sell it.
Okay. Other questions for either one of these gentlemen from commissioners?
I just have a quick one. Will it just be the Circle K store, or do you plan to have any other, ancillary, I guess, places, I don't know, Subway, sandwich, anything like that, donut shop, anything within the
No, it will just be the Circle K store, no sort of quick serve restaurant in there. However, we do offer a new food program, which is coming out, which will be implemented into the store. So it's just food that's not cooked on site. It's just prepared on site, reheated, and such as like chicken sandwiches, pizza, barbecue, stuff like that.
Very good.
Who else? Anybody else?
I would like to say, I do think it needs to be enlarged because it is very tight in there. So I can see the point.
So you will be so basically those curb cuts will be closed, and the entrance is either going to be going up like you're going up not Hidden Hills, but what's that road? North Hills, and you turn in, or you'll turn in between the Herzog building and where that car wash currently is, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. All those curb cuts are going away.
Than currently, because backing out of there now can be a mess. So I think it's very positive.
That's exactly what the Board of Zoning Appeals said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've had some horrible accidents up there before in the past.
Okay.
It needed to be changed.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioners Key, Commissioner Watts, Commissioner Mackey, Commissioner Crawford, Clark, or Carter?
I just have a question from Ms. Hodges about the canopy screening and the note around, I guess, concern about that if she hadn't wanted to add anything or under the staff evaluations, number 2.
Yeah, I'm just noting that a complete screening of the canopy is not feasible. That's not realistic. That's never going to happen. We're not necessarily, against the canopy being there. We just wanted to make sure everyone understood that it would not be completely screened. It wouldn't be safe, really, to completely screen the canopy from the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I would, any conversations between commissioners before we entertain a motion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Is this motion, final, or is it the recommendation to the, council?
This will be a final motion.
Or final.
Well, I'll make a motion, for application MSP, 20-001 Circle K redevelopment. I like a motion for approval for the, site plan application for redevelopment, of Circle K store located on Martintown Road, 421 West.
I've got a, motion by Commissioner Key. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who is that?
Commissioner Crawford.
Oh, okay, Commissioner Crawford, second. Any discussion? Okay, so, we'll go in order. If you're in approval, Commissioner Key? Yes?
Approval, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Watts? He must not.
Yes.
Oh, you're here. Good.
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
And yes for Commissioner Williams, so it's unanimously passed. So, Paul and Matt, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. Stay safe and take it easy.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, we're on item number 7. Application SP 20-002 Communigraphics, request by Communigraphics for approval of an accessory warehouse located at 1400 Georgia Avenue. The request of plus or minus 3 acres located on TPN 0-19-05-035 Zone PD Plan Development and within NP Neighborhood Preservation Overlay District. Again, the consideration of the major site plan application. And at this point, Mrs. Hodges, would you like to share anything with us on it?
Yeah, so this is an item that we saw under a concept plan not too long ago. Hang on just a second. We got a little bit of feedback happening
There's
here.
a lot of feedback, so I'm not quite sure where that's coming from.
All right. Is that a little bit better?
Yes, better.
Okay, good. So just double check that I can mute you from here. So double check when you want to speak that you have been muted or can unmute yourself. But getting back to what I was saying, this is an application that we saw several months ago as a concept plan. This is a project that has a PD on it, so a plan development on the project, on the property. So that's a little bit more complicated, but the PD does give the Planning Commission the ability to change some of the layout and some of the requirements of the property. I believe that some of the comments that still remain mentioned in the staff report. We have some concerns about the elevation meeting the requirements of the neighborhood preservation overlay, which is required by the PD. But we still have, we felt like we still at least needed to get it to the Planning Commission so that you all could review it for building location and square footage as allowed by the PD. If you have any more questions, please, I'm here to do whatever I can.
Okay, I'll just jump in. I've got 2 questions. Probably should know what this is. I noticed back the original sketch review under traffic impact tier, it had tier 2 and now it shows tier 1. That's anything of significance?
That would be more important if they were going to do a rezoning or if they were changing any of the driveway access, and they're not doing that.
Okay. And the last question I had was on the last page 10, on the sketch review, there was a statement about maybe needing, no matter what we did, there still might be a need for a variance from the BZA. I don't see that in the last paragraph now. Is that no longer an issue based on whatever we decide?
Based on what they are showing us right now in their site plan, I do not believe that would be a requirement.
Okay, good. Okay. Any questions from other commissioners or
Yeah.
Ms. Hodges?
Ms. Hodges, I did not quite understand your concern about the elevation. Can you kind of elaborate what you meant?
So this is, the plan development does require the elevation match neighborhood preservation requirements. And we did not have any, calculations about the coverage of the windows, and there's some other requirements about overhead doors and how much area that could cover.
Okay, so upon voting, yay or nay, how would that be mitigated if it was yay? How would it be controlled?
Yeah, staff would not give a final approval until we knew for sure that the elevations worked.
A lot of feedback. I don't know if that's okay. Any other questions, Commissioner Key? That's a good one.
None at this moment.
Any other commissioners for Ms. Hodges before the applicant?
Libby, you said that one, so that'll be a condition of approval. Is that going to be in the conditions here if we approve her?
Yes, that would be a condition of approval.
Okay. I'm good.
Who else?
Miss, the pictures that were given, and they come unstapled, but the pictures that gave examples of the outline, front facade, and all of that was pretty dramatic to me. What were those pictures for? Of the stucco?
Yeah, those were the original exhibits from the PD. And if you look at the PD and what they're proposing now, they originally were going to propose a building in front of all of that existing building. And they're not currently going to do that. They're proposing a warehouse in the back.
So all of these pages of all this pretty palm trees and all of that, that's not what
That's not what this is going to look like. We included that because it was part of the PD. It's one of the exhibits in the PD.
Okay, I see now. Because I thought, well, that's pretty dramatic, but that's not going to happen. Okay, that's fine. But didn't they have it, the last time they met with us, we talked in length about how it would be set back and it's over by the post office and all of that, so.
Yes, this is in line with the concept plan we reviewed previously.
Okay.
Okay, if no other questions at this point, I'll ask the applicant or whoever is representing the applicant if they'd like to come forward. If you state your name and address, and feel free to tell us where we are.
Yes, this is Jim Newman, 171 Alton Hall Drive, North Augusta. I'm just here on behalf of the Community Graphics and the engineer for this site plan. It is pretty much exactly the way we discussed it a couple of months ago. We're putting a warehouse in the back right-hand corner of the property, back behind the existing buildings, next to the post office side.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Is there anything that came up from when you came to us with a sketch review that we need to be aware of that's not already in here?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay.
I found a gas line that wasn't supposed to be there in our research, but you know.
Okay.
So where are the double doors or roll-up doors, how are they configured on the building? I see the building's kind of,
So if you look at the front, the roll-up door will be in the front of the property because that's the only access to that piece of property is straight from the front from the Martintown Road. There's already a roadway already back there to the existing property. Part of this building's hid behind a wall and the existing building. So you will if you look just right, because there's a bunch of large oak trees and crepe myrtles. If you look, you'll be able to see a little bit of the building. There will be a roll-up door in front. There will be a walk door to the left of it. And then, of course, there will be 2 windows, which is required by the zoning out front.
Okay. Good question.
I'm still having some spatial difficulties. I don't know about you guys.
Can you see on your screen, Mr. Key?
Okay, I'm looking at my screen.
Well, that shows just a conceptual elevation.
Yeah.
The
Can
big
you
gray.
go to, can you roll it back to some of the plans where they have the buildings? Yeah, no, keep going. There we go. Up. The one before. The site plans right before that one you have on the screen.
No, this is from the PD.
Okay.
Oops, sorry, I touched it.
Okay.
And from this drawing, it shows a building on the front on the George Avenue side.
Correct.
This new building, and I'm going to switch back.
Okay.
This new building is going to go behind in the kind of the upper left-hand corner right before it starts to go back to that point.
And so it's going to have the drive directly in front, no parking at all?
No, there's already a road going back to that building now with some parking. I think 2 or 3 spots that are already in existence behind the wall. So this is not for customers.
Right.
This is for employees only. So there will be no employee or customers back to that point. And that is the only access is through the existing road to get to that building. There's a walled off area and a steep grade between the post office and this property. You are roughly, if I remember correctly, about 40 feet from that wall to the edge of the building. And about 250 feet from Georgia Avenue to the front of the building.
Okay. Now I understand.
Okay, good questions. Anybody else? Okay, well, that's no other questions for the applicant. I'll ask commissioners for any comments from commissioners. Hello? Any comments from commissioners? I want to share.
Now make sure your microphone's unmuted.
Let me do, just so we can do it. I can go through roll call again. Commissioner Key, any you have for us?
I have none.
Okay. Commissioner Watts? Commissioner Mackey?
No questions.
Okay, Commissioner Crawford,
No question.
Commissioner Clark,
No questions.
Commissioner Carter.
No questions. Most of mine were answered, I think, in the very first meeting, so I'm fine.
Yep, I think same way. I don't see anything that really surprises us from what we talked about before. And, so at this point, what we would need would be a motion. And that motion, Ms. Hodges, does need to include the condition in it.
Yes, it will need to include the conditions, and it will need to include some mention of the reallocation using the PD.
Mr. Crawford, you're so good about these detailed motions. Would you like to?
I was gonna say on that one, all of the conditions, that one seemed like a little above my pay grade. Okay, let me see if
I don't know what this background is.
So basically, if y'all don't mind me adding a little, giving a little assistance.
Yeah, thank you.
The motion would be to approve the site plan to match the square footage of the building proposed to allow how many square feet? Sorry about that. I'm not sure what that was. To allow 33,750 square feet of warehouse space in its current in the location shown on the current site plan. And to approve the site plan with the condition that the architectural elevations will meet the requirements of the neighborhood preservation overlay.
What she said.
That sounds good to me.
second, because I was trying to write it and that was a lot.
Okay. You need it again?
Yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I need to, so I move to approve the site plan to match the square footage of the building as presented in the current site, and on the condition that the elevations will match that of the historic overlay.
The neighborhood preservation overlay.
Neighborhood preservation, thank you.
Okay, there's a motion. Fantastic job, Commissioner Crawford. Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Carter.
Mr. Carter. Okay, any discussion from commissioners? Okay, so let's see if you're in favor or nay. Commissioner Key.
Yay.
Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Crawford.
Yay.
Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
And yes from Commissioner Williams. So it passes unanimously. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Whew. Okay. All right. Thank you for your assistance on that, Ms. Hodges. You earned your keep tonight for sure. Will you want to turn over the staff report? Anything we need to be aware of?
So I'm not sure. Let me just double check one thing on here. Yeah, we had an issue with our phone call report this month. So the numbers on that are not accurate. We did not have 0 phone calls. I can absolutely guarantee you that is the case. That should be resolved. Yeah, I think that was Ricky chiming in, but it's all right. Ricky's our IT support, and thank him greatly for coming in last minute to get us broadcast out on Facebook.
Thank you, sir.
Just a couple of other things, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop. We are back to business as usual for me. I'm back in the office as of tomorrow. The Martintown Road corridor study is humming along. We've had some meetings with SCDOT and some of the surrounding developers, and I feel like we're in a really good place on that. So hopefully some of that will be released really soon. We are still working on the Metropolitan Transportation Plan for the entire arts area, which is the entire us and Augusta and all our surrounding counties. So that is still in process. They're talking about having another input session specifically for the South Carolina side in the next couple of months. I don't know what kind of format that's going to be, given that the virus is still quite prolific lately. The 5th Street Bridge, I'm sure y'all have read some in the news about that. So that bridge is officially closed. It will be reopening probably in a year or so, only to pedestrian and bicycle traffic. I foresee in the future some additional studies in that area to mitigate some of what's happening over there. And I don't mean mitigate in a bad way, just mitigate in making some of that access to 520 a little bit easier. And a little more clear, because that's kind of a confusing intersection. We should start working up our budget for next year in the next couple months. So hopefully I'll be able to get some information to you guys about that. I'm going to try to bring you in as much as I can. I tried to be a little more transparent about what I was asking for last year, and I'm going to try my best to do that again. We have a couple of TAP grants that have been accepted. We're still waiting to hear about the knob cone sidewalk that goes between the high school and the middle school and Paul Knox Middle School. So hopefully that will be in process pretty soon. We've applied for another one to extend out from the end at, is it Woodside, to go out to Mayfield Drive. So that's in process as well. Do y'all have any other things that you've heard about that you need to ask me about, or?
How's July looking like as far as, you got a lot on the table coming up?
We probably will have a site plan or two, and we've got another text change that I've proposed about cottage kitchens and food prep for a home occupation.
Okay.
That is about all I have right at the moment.
Okay. It's kind of like when we talked, it was reminding me of that scene in The Godfather with Al Pacino says that every time he tries to get out, they keep pulling him back in. I was hoping we would be at the actual chambers this month, but we won't. So we keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully in July we can be back again without having to go through this go-to meeting.
We can hope, but we're trying to be really careful. This last scare that we had, it was really close. So
yeah,
y'all be safe. Wear your masks.
I know.
Commissioner Clark, I have a question. What's the status on that proposal that we went out for bids on?
Oh, for the development code.
Yeah.
That one I did forget to mention to you. That was supposed to have gone on this past city council agenda. Obviously that got tabled because of the virus scare that we had. So it will be back next time. We should be right on track. We're getting ready. We're going to do a virtual kickoff because we'd rather get started now than later. But that's humming right along. We got it as close as possible as we could to our budget. We can make up the minor shortfall within existing funds that I already have. So that is still working its way through the system.
Good news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well, I will adjourn the meeting. Each of y'all for your time. Like Libby said, stay safe and let's be smart. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you.